mind, man. You ain't, that's crazy. We got to split. Unbelievable. We just, some things are just not ought to do for money, right? And then these black folks, these politicians that we send there with this mentality, man, they have already bought into the system. These are the gatekeepers, man, the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers that keep the black folks in their place. And they got to use black people to do it. The easiest ones to do it, the sellouts. They get out there and run out their mouth and talk real loud, but nothing really happens. Like I told you before, they never come after the election. They show up, but after the election, they don't never say, hey, I'm going to have some political workshops in the community to show the community how the political process works and how you get balance on the measures to address certain issues that are affected. So you can come up with your own agenda. Instead of every year, election cycle, they send us a book of people to vote for. Oh, just send it out and just check up. These are all the Democrats. Just check them off. Just keep on going. Just check them off. Done that for tens of years. Talking about the Voting Rights Act, and they give you a pamphlet and tell you what to go in there and check off in the box. No respect, man. That's why you don't get nothing. That's disrespect. And we need to, and we all know this. Another black anthem. Black women already know this. Well, knowing and doing is two different things. Knowing and doing is two different things. We know a lot of things that we shouldn't be doing. Shouldn't be driving by shooting each other, but we do it. We care about drive-by shootings, but when the police does it, we just totally lose our mind. What about the abortion rate I just mentioned earlier? Well, more kids are being killed than are born. We have a problem. We have a major problem because we don't like each other. We don't like ourselves. We don't like ourselves. Killing future geniuses and people who can help us to improve our condition. I just hate seeing the homelessness. Homeless rate increasing. Poverty, despair. Our children getting shot down in the streets. How do we address that issue? When your son and daughter gets shot down, all of a sudden you want to be on the news and protests and so forth like that. But what can we do now so that doesn't take place and starts to minimize itself? So these police and courts and prisons go out of business. That's the best way to fight back. And then we can deal with the institutions themselves. But first, stop the flow going into these slave catching systems. And we have the ability, we have the resources, we have the knowledge, the ability to educate ourselves. And when our children go to school, you can't get a degree in basket weaving and these things that just have no purpose to fit into our community. We should start concentrating on what do we need to create a viable inner city community. Working together. And nobody want to work with a group of people who are weak and don't have the will. And all we do is send up cliches and affirmations with no backing. We just talking. But we've been talked to. That's all nobody's ever come up with a solution. We've been indoctrinated with these feel-good messages. But at the end of the day, it leaves us empty. That's why these people are leaving the church like, hey man, it's fake, it's a fraud. You pimping me, but I'm not getting no return on my investment. You glean in the field, but then you telling me that I need to wait until I'm dead to get mine. Just start thinking, man. This is a new reality now. The internet, now they giving you, before they weren't giving you any information, now they give you too much information. They inundate you with information now. So now you just as worse off when you didn't have any information at all. Cognitive dissonance, especially if you hear something that goes against what you've been indoctrinated with in the past as false. Nobody can tell you, to go against the myths that you've been taught and indoctrinated with as a child. They ain't even got to beat you to get you to believe that stuff no more. Ancestors, it took hundreds and hundreds of years for people to get to that mindset. Because Maya was the spiritual movement of the time, of the ages. So man stepped into the shoes of spiritual awareness. And now they directed your mind from the creation to man. Jesus was the ultimate metaphor for Maya, the way he lived his life. So they created this fabrication, and then the Pope says Jesus failed on the cross. He didn't accomplish it, he failed. So now they take you on a mind F journey down another rabbit hole. The bottom line is your journey, your personal growth and development. And the other stories, let them, the only thing you're supposed to glean out is how can I use this material to be a better person? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be you and the scale of Maya. Right? At the end of the day, it's your heart. It's as light as a feather. Okay, let's see. Like I said, we have the ability to educate our own children, provide jobs, hospitals, etc. But where there's no vision, the people perish. If you have no vision, there can be no unity. There can be no unity. And, our politicians, I'll get to that part, they are freaking useless. Useless. And it shouldn't, I've mentioned this before, it shouldn't matter who's in the presidency. As a community, we should be able to function. If the grocery store shut down, we should be able to function. The bank shut down, we should be able to function as a community. As a community. What time we got here? All right, so I got time flying by, 20 more minutes. All right. This material was slow to go through, but, hopefully, eventually I'll be able to, get some feedback. But the only feedback, listen, when I went to the military, they didn't care what the heck I thought. When I went to UCLA, they didn't care what the heck I thought. Went to classes, professors, they didn't care what the heck I thought. I know, listen, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I worked hard. Back when I was growing up with racism, when you try to get out, I was many times the only black person in the room. First corporate job, the first black person in my finance department. So I already know. But I'm telling you what it takes to pull yourself up. I'm giving you the golden shoe and the shoelaces to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Everything's there. All you got to do is use your free will. God gives us free will. Yeah, to serve him, and to do what's right. Then you will be blessed with everything that belongs to you anyway. But this crooked behavior, dishonest behavior, cheating, beating, stealing from each other so you can live and at the expense of someone else, it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped. Because look at us as individuals and look at our communities. And we should be able to, that's what the 12-week crash course is about. After we finished, you created a vision, a boilerplate for your life plan, called a 30-day life plan. Right? Take more than 30 days. Called a 30-day life plan to get through the process. Then you can now see ahead. Then we go through and wipe out these, and we create a new paradigm, a new reality. And now go through and we implement that new reality into your life, right? So now we can start seeing things differently and start working together. And people say, oh, I can't work with black people. I don't want nothing to do with black people. You destroyed yourself. But then who do you rely on? Person I met recently can't, and and it's they was having a discussion one evening. And finally came out of their mouth, they think that black people are the ugliest people on earth. They don't like themselves. I was like, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. When they start spewing that stuff, it's something trippy. I'm like, finally, I heard a lot of nonsense out of their mouth. But now you get down to the root cause of it. But yet it's a black man and a black person that's blessing your life. It's unbelievable, the self-esteem that many of our people have gone through. And our young men that are not men anymore. This is a trend that must be stopped, brothers. And with no brothers on the line, the family has fallen into decay. It's confusion. Confusion. Fornication. Confusion. God said he is not a God of confusion, but we full of confusion. I have a message on fornication to bring down porn. It's not the male and the female that are not married getting together. It's a whole lot of other not. It can't. That is another churched concept that keeps you into confusion in your mind. That makes you dysfunctional. That actually destroys you as a viable species. All this nonsense. We would die as a people, like aborting more than we're being born. But looking further, even though those abortions are taking place, are we still replenishing our nation? One statistic said, I know when I was growing up, there was 40 million black folks. 20 years later, 40 million black folks. We know there's actually about 70, 80 million right now. No, the numbers popped out. But if we continue to kill ourselves, kill our women, come on with it. That's why we want to create an economic infrastructure. Because, listen, we shouldn't be killing our kids. And you should be in a situation where you can raise those children in a supportive environment. And whether we have to use the concept of community centers. So we have community parenting, community. And one of the things that really destroyed this, sisters, is when you tell your person who cares about our community, don't touch my kids. Don't touch my kids. You took out the community support system. You run into the school system, you start cussing out the teacher without knowing the facts. Your children are off the chain. They do crazy things, not all of them. About 50% of them. Too many. Do crazy stuff that you have no idea. And the reason they do that because the parents got a crazy mindset. Running out there fussing without getting the facts. Emotion. This is nonsense. And we think it's normal. We have been destroyed, our communities, and the reason we're in this situation because we're constantly under attack. We're constantly under attack. So that's why we need to gird ourselves and we're being pushed back. Hold it. Stop. Wait a minute. Hold it. Stop. Quit sliding back. Put some energy on it and stop it and start moving it back the other way. Because we're being pushed over the cliff. And we don't even see it. We got life rafts and don't even know how to get into the right. Don't have enough sense to get into the life raft. When the boat's sinking, there's a sufficient number of life rafts. But the ones that are being populated, the people fighting over it, and end up drowning and destroying themselves because they don't see the other life